Alright, this one I have waited 4 days to do. Well, this is the 4th day. And I'm glad it's been this amount of time. I couldn't have done it earlier because my camera was confiscated by the police. I was in a car accident, multi-car accident. And in the process of them trying to decide who was at fault, they basically criminalized everybody involved. Took our cars, took our property. Long story short, I'm in a state of mind right now that is very incensed with alacrity when it comes to the police state of the matter. With regard to considering government and the reality of things in the United States of America, if not the entire planet. Alex Jones, having his debate on the Piers Morgan show, gave me a very, very serious moment of consideration. That was big. I mean, there's no more kidding around about it anymore. There's no more cracking jokes about Alex Jones anymore. It's a time to decide who that man really is. Because that interview with Piers Morgan made it absolutely clear. It's like, not to get tangential as I usually do, but it's like considering Mormonism or Scientology. When you get down to it, you realize that you're dealing with people who are either there's something wrong with them or there's something wrong with them. The differences in the intonation and the look. Alex Jones is either a very oblivious, ignorant, although well-informed patriot who believes in very old ideals to his core, to the point of not saying the truth, or he's absolutely lying to us and he's working with the powers that be as an actor to put on a charade to give us the gun control issue in a diametric, where here's Piers Morgan advocating, legislation to put all kinds of regulation on, if not confiscation, on owners of firearms in the United States. The breach of the Second Amendment of the Constitution, which Alex Jones is vehemently or purportedly vehemently opposing as defending the gun owners of the United States. So you're watching this video and you're watching what he says and you watch how Piers Morgan isn't really, he didn't fight it very much. Just kind of lets Jones say his thing. That's the number one thing to consider. He let him do it. Number two, Jones, his spiel seemed scripted. Not that it was, but it was pretty good. I mean, if he can just naturally belt out something like that, wow, then we're dealing with a seriously talented person who needs to be respected. If not, we're dealing with a very phenomenal actor. It's one of the two. Endgame was, he got thrown off the show. He was promised 3 segments. He was given 2, dispersed by breaks. In the 3rd segment, he was supposed to debate with Alan Dershowitz, the famous lawyer of John Lennon and O.J. Simpson fame. Arguably the best lawyer in the world. Definitely the best lawyer in the United States. A one-on-one with Alex Jones about the Second Amendment and our rights. This all comes down to the ridiculous consideration that, the regrettable tragedies that happened with the shootings recently having to invoke consideration of changing the Constitution with regard to our rights to firearms, when you consider it's just 2 incidents out of 300 million people. You're talking about taking the rights away or garnishing the rights of 300 million people because of 2 incidents, when we have, every week of every month, police officers misusing their firearms to kill innocent people. They misuse their firearms all the time, and that never makes the news on the Piers Morgan show. But we have to take this into national consideration because it's pushed by the government. They invited Alex Jones on the show. That's another thing to consider. Why would they, live, no doubt, why would they let someone who is obviously a loose cannon on the show? Why? My point is, we're supposed to believe this. And I am at a point where I don't know what to think. Because all the crazy things I've always said about Alex Jones, I've tried to make it clear that I don't know. I just think he's suspicious. It's what he doesn't say. You know, it's that he hasn't been actually impinged on, arrested. It appears that he's working for the Zionists to be flypaper, to bring people out, to basically empower pseudo-rebels, to make them known on Facebook and all these social media sites. People basically shooting themselves in the foot without realizing it, and he's the modality that makes it happen. And so he goes this other step of it, being on CNN. And then he has his little home videos in the hotel with his coworker about their experience, and that's supposed to legitimize the idea that he's a lone maverick, you know, fighting the powers that be in New York City, with Michael Bloomberg as mayor and all his cohorts following him around. He mentioned all kinds of key people, Dianne Feinstein, you know, Michael Bloomberg. It's this. It's what he doesn't say about the powers that be. The powers that be that we know the names of, at least the key agents that work for the perhaps unnamed people that run the United States. My personal belief has always been, if Alex Jones was a real threat, he would have been killed a long time ago. Which leads you logically to believe that he's an actor. He's been working for 15 or 16 years, very specifically, strategically. Sometimes it's a more saturated moment of drama, other times it's more subtle, all the while gathering a larger and larger audience. All the while psychologically testing us to see our reactions on it. If he really had any sense, he wouldn't have blown up like that on the Piers Morgan show. He would have had some tact. Realizing how many people he would have been brought into question by looking like a psychotic. And he looked like a psychotic. He basically looked like anyone that wants to own their firearms in their home as someone to be feared and considered for legal action or revision. And that is what's going to happen, despite what he says with his fear-mongering. And he's either a very well-meaning patriot, the real thing, but also a moron, or he's absolutely funded and told what to do by the powers that be. It's one or the other. He's got to go either way. That's the final word on it. Alex Jones has got to go. Please make it happen.